Hey New Moon Girls, I'm here with Taylor Fisher. Hello. We're going to talk about video games. So, where do you work and what do you do there?
I am a concept artist at ZeniMax Online Studios, and I pretty much draw awesome stuff all day.
And, did your college have a game development major? How did that...
My college didn't have a game development major when I started. They had the illustration department, and that's what I gravitated towards, but originally I thought I was going to be a fine artist, so it kind of was a little bit of a transformation for me, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do exactly. But once I realized that I wanted to draw dragons for the rest of my life, and monsters, and heroes, and adventures, I kind of just ended up doing that whole illustration thing, and then it led into internships and stuff like that.
Awesome. But how did you first get into video games, and what was the first game that really got you hooked?
The first game that got me hooked was Ico, which you are an adventurer who doesn't speak any tangible language, and you venture to a castle where you've been locked in and you have to escape. And that was kind of like the first game where I had a hero that had a totally different connection to a world that I had never been to, and I just wanted to explore their perspective. And I got into video games in general just because I have two brothers and a sister, and they're older than me, and seeing them do a lot of this stuff, I was like, well, I want to check this out. And I also like to read a lot, and finding the same adventures in books in a video format, an interactive format, was something that I got really interested in. So
yeah, I can relate to that.
It's great.
Yeah.
I love it.
Are more girls playing video games now?
Almost exactly 50% of video game players right now are women.
Wow, that's awesome.
The average female player is between the ages of 30 and 45, which is very, it's not the expected, age group. So, and it's a really, and that's, a big thing, is people really don't expect that there are that many girls playing, that many women playing games, and it's a common misconception that girls don't like competition or video games or stuff like that. So.
Right, yeah. And have you seen a change in the number of women working in the video game industry?
Even though I've only been working in video games for about 3.5 years now, but I've noticed a really big increase in women in the video game industry, and just in most entertainment industries in general, because I think across television and cartooning and video games, it's just been a steady increase. So
does that mean we can expect more girl-friendly content?
Hopefully, and yes, I think so. I think already there's been some really big steps that the industry has noticed and taken a lot of cues from. Gears of War automatically sounds like a very masculine title, added their first female character in their most latest release, which is a really big step for, a game that you don't expect girls to play, so, yeah. Which is awesome.
Yeah,
so.
That's great. Yeah. Is it hard to work in a male-dominated industry?
It can be very hard sometimes, and very frustrating, but I think that's kind of a general thing right now. I think right now, kind of, I consider myself a feminist, working towards those kinds of goals. There's still stuff in everyday life that we have to overcome, and I think that stuff still translates into the workplace. And you'll never find a perfect place right now, but it's definitely something that I constantly try to remind people about and work towards. So
right.
It's difficult.
Yeah.
But we're working on it. So
what's the best part about what you do?
The best part about what I do? Oh man, that's hard. I think the best part about what I do is I get a lot of time to put myself into everything that I make. And every piece of content that goes into a game, even if it's, I use Civilization as an example, even if it's a ruin off in the distance, it's a pile of rocks. I do little details, I add birds over that pile of rocks, or a special kind of tree, or only at certain times you notice a rainbow over it, and it's those little kinds of details that I get to add into a world. And it's subtle hints to me and a couple people. It's someone gets to spend a lot of time thinking about that and kind of putting themselves into it. And it's little stuff, but that's probably my favorite part. seeing that like all come together.
Yeah. So, what are some good games for girls that they can?
There are a lot of good games, I think, for girls. Ico would be a really big game that I would recommend. And Shadow of the Colossus, which is its sequel, is another really good game. And it's also the same premise, you know, a character who doesn't speak any language. Like, it's meant to sound like something you understand, but actually it's all gibberish. Torchlight is a good game. I think any game with really strong character customization, like Monster Hunter, which is a series that also kind of has, I feel like, a masculine title. You can choose your character's voice and what they sound like in the game, down to the hairstyle, their height, their weight, like everything. And I think giving those options in a way that's also presenting the average girl and not like an idealized woman is a really awesome thing to see. Yeah. So, and you get to take a sword out and go, you know, take out big monsters, which everyone wants to do. Pokemon, which I think is really good because you get a lot of customization options in that as well. And it's also a little more on like kind of the hardcore game scale where you spend a lot of time, like, for gamers, min-maxing your stats and things like that. So World of Warcraft I think is really great. It's another like big, like, it includes a lot of like social gaming along with min-maxing kind of stuff, and then just like it's generally just a good looking game, and they're really responsive to the kind of like statistics of knowing that like women, they were actually one of the people who put out the statistic of 50% of their gamers are female and 50% are male, so it's got to be a good game,
right?
It's
yeah,
50-50. So.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome. I'm glad I could do this.
Yeah, I've been talking with Taylor Fisher, who is a video
game concept artist. Yeah.
So, hope you enjoyed it.